Hear NFL Legends players, coaches, and media members from around the country, sharing their insights and stories with us year-round. Here on Thursday night, Tailgate.
And now back with us here on Thursday night tailgate is former Jaguars and Bills Pro Bowl kicker, and more importantly, former Thursday night tailgate Fantasy Football League champion, Mike Hollis. Let me give you a little more background on Mike. He is from Kellogg, Idaho, and grew up near Spokane, Washington. He started his college career playing at Wenatchee Valley College before transferring to the University of Idaho, where he still holds the record for the two longest field goals in school history at 55 and 56 yards. Both of those came back in 1993. He was an undrafted free agent signed by the Jacksonville Jaguars in their inaugural season in 1995. And he kicked in the league from 95 to 2002 for the Jaguars and the Bills. He was named to the Pro Bowl in 1997. He now coaches and runs Proform Kicking Academy, which you can get more information about online at proformkicking.com. And we're excited he is back with us again tonight here on Thursday Night Tailgate. Hey, Mike, Chris, and Bob here. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Mike.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Long time no talk.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? How have you been, my friend?
I have been fabulous. Thanks for asking. How have you guys been?
Oh, really good. Thank you, Mike. And I tell you, you know, when you say you've been fabulous, I've seen some recent videos of you in out there kicking and looking pretty strong, my friend. If someone needs a kicker down the stretch, there's an injury here or there, are you available to dust off the number one and get back out there for a few weeks?
It's so funny. You can't imagine how many people ask me that same question. You know, and the thing is, with my kicking academy, I demonstrate, and so you know, I'm trying to stay as young as possible. Put it that way. So I'm just staying active and just you know, I'm not you know, staying ready in case there's a call, because I don't think there ever would be. But you know, if it was the last option on earth, then yeah, I would give it a shot. But I just enjoy, you know, the competition and just the challenge of kicking at a high level at a higher age.
And, you know, to that point, Mike, you know, you're only a year older than Adam Vinatieri, and he's still out there going strong, 18 of 19 field goals so far this season. You know, you talk about staying in shape and staying strong. What are you doing? What are guys doing? You know, I don't know if you know Adam, but you know, what are you doing to try to stay strong, stay in shape and that sort of thing? Because you know, Vinatieri looks like a freak of nature, but when I saw that video of you, I was thinking, boy, Mike looks strong too. What are you doing? How are you staying healthy and staying ready?
Well, you know, I've done a lot of workout sort of things when I was playing, of course, and you know, they were weight room stuff, and you know, some anaerobic sort of running and some plyometrics and things like that. You know, I'm talking a little old school now. I'm kind of dating myself, but you know, I when I retired, I didn't want to really do much more in the weight room. I got kind of to a little bit of on the boring side. And it's just something I've been doing for so long as part of my career and my life. And there were some periods of time where I didn't really do anything. And I put on a few lbs, so I figured I needed to, you know, get in shape again or get in somewhat decent shape. And I found a boxing club here in Jacksonville called Title Boxing. So I've been doing that for the last 3 years or so. And it's probably the hardest workout I've ever done, including a lot of the football stuff we used to do in the off seasons. It's a full body, you know, very, very cardio. Not doing much with weights anymore as far as, you know, heavy lifting by any means. But, you know, boxing is a very, very aerobic sort of exercise, and I enjoy doing it. And it never gets easy. You discover that you're always hitting something and you're challenging yourself. So, you know, the instructor can give you, you know, certain combinations to throw, and if you want to be lazy and not challenge yourself, then you just kind of tap the bag and do your thing. But I'm a competitor, man. I gotta get in there and I gotta hit that bag. So I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Bob, questions for Mike?
It's great to speak with you again, Mike, and staying on the same kind of theme with size and everything like that. As far as a kicker, Mike, would you say that there's an ideal size for a kicker? We don't see usually guys that are 6'4", 6'5" doing it. You were pretty small in stature, but as far as a very strong man, does it have to do with a lot of just strength? I mean, we don't, again, one of the tallest guys I know was a guy like Nick Lowry back in the day, but tell us about size when it comes to kicking as opposed to other positions.
Well, guys, I can talk about kicking for hours, but to kind of sum it up, I in the short story about me getting to Jacksonville was the fact that Tom Coughlin thought I was too short, and my kicking coach at the time, and my business partner in Pro Form Kicking, he called him up and said, "You guys don't know what you're talking about. Mike kicks like he's 6'5". Why would it matter what size he is? The ball's going to travel. If it travels the way it does now with him kicking at his size, then so be it." One of the things that with the technique and the stuff that we coach has a lot to do with body weight and forward momentum. I could be 180 pounds and 5'8", and kick better than a guy that's my same weight and a little bit taller than me, because he may not be using the form that I would be using, because I'm using more so 100% of my body weight into the kick rather than just running up to the ball, stopping on my plant foot and swinging hard with my leg, which a lot of guys do, and it's unfortunate. A couple of reasons, because common sense tells them they got to swing hard with their leg to kick it far, and I understand that. But the other problem is that there's guys out there coaching that. They teach big backswings, and they teach, kind of leaning away, and when you lean away from the ball, you're going to stop your forward momentum. It's common sense to me, but not to a lot of people. So size really, with regards to kicking, it all really boils down to the body weight, and I think the technique. It's a very smooth technique that we teach, and you just you use your momentum, and it's more of an effortless sort of swing, where there's big guys out there doing more effort than I would be doing, but yet the ball would go similar distances and heights.
And what I find remarkable about your career, Mike, was how effective you were from 50 yards out, the opportunities that you did get. Was this something that you did a lot of practicing during the week? In an organized team practice, Mike, how often would you do long field goal attempts, or were you somewhere in the middle while practicing during the week?
We would do a variety of kicks from anywhere from 30 yards and back to 50, 55, sometimes 58, a little bit further. So there really wasn't a science to that. It was just a matter of getting, shots at different areas, just treat it like a game, because you never know where you're going to go in. Obviously, if it's 7 yards, I wouldn't have attempted that. But these guys, these days may, get plenty of opportunities at 70 yards. You never know. But, the thing with me, I think, is ultimately, I think that I was good at not really caring about the expectation, which is kind of odd for me to say, and it's odd for someone to think about. But I kind of dumbed it down in a sense that when I went out there to kick a long field goal, I knew I had to hit it firmly, and doing the technique and the form that I was taught to do, if I don't hit it firmly, then I'm kind of trying to steer the football. And from back there at that distance, steering a football is kind of not really an option, really. I know that you're trying to kick it straighter because it is such a smaller target because you're so far back. But in my mind, I'm just trying to hit it firmly with my good form and technique. And I think I didn't, when I move in a little closer, if you look at my stats, I wasn't that good, in the shorter field goals, because I think I gave up on my form, and I was looking up quicker, or not finishing my kick, or not kicking it firmly like my specific technique kind of requires. So that's where I think I lacked in that sort of thing. So I think, looking back at those long field goals, the expectation level back then, kicking a 50-plus field goal was kind of a big deal. And you kind of, again, you dumb it down and you say, well, I'm just going to put my foot on this and kind of hope for the best. But I know if I just do my form, my technique, and I hit it firm, it should go. And that's kind of my mentality that I carried on those long ones especially.
And Mike, talking about technique, because it seems like we're seeing guys kicking further kicks, right, longer distances, more accurately than we ever have in the past. Why is it? Why are guys? Is it a health thing? Is it a workout thing? Or is it a technique thing? How are guys hitting longer field goals more accurately now?
I think it's a combination of all of the above. There's a lot of things that I think go into that, and I think and a lot of people wouldn't realize this, but the field conditions have gotten a lot better since even back when I played. And obviously, you go back in the 80s and 70s and 60s, you can imagine that those old, really, really sandy grass fields that weren't that great, obviously, to kick off of. So the field conditions have gotten a lot better. the workouts, these guys are being groomed at a younger age, and by the time they get to that NFL level, they've probably been working out the proper way, and eating better, and it's taken off a totally different mindset with regards to kicking. And I think that there's a lot of kicking academies out there and kicking coaches out there now. They're on every corner. That's good and bad, because the bad part is that some of them are not teaching the proper stuff, but a lot of them are doing a good job. So I think there's a variety of those kind of things that are played into that as well. And one thing I need to mention too is that back when I played, the concept of having a long snapper take a roster position on the team wasn't really quite there. David Binn, in 1994, I was with the Chargers, and that was David Binn's first year, and that was the first time that I think in the NFL that the team had actually had a long snapper that took up a roster spot. When I played for 6 of my 8 years that I played, I believe I didn't have really somebody that was a specific long snapper. Matter of fact, I think Joe Zelinka was the first true long snapper that came in when I was playing, and that was my last year here in Jacksonville. So I didn't have the luxury of having a guy, the third person in our special team squad during practice, walking around and having the luxury of having a snapper and a holder and a kicker all working together all day long. That didn't happen back then, and I was kind of given, whoever was the best snapper on the team, and at the time it was Dave Wydell and Quentin New Year and Rich Griffith was our punt snapper. So we just, we had a variety of guys doing it, and so it's a little different now that they have specific snappers. So there's a lot of things that go into that.
And Mike, as you mentioned a moment ago, 70-yard field goals. Do you think we're going to see guys given the opportunity to try to make 70-yard field goals before long?
Absolutely, these guys are literally crushing the ball, and you see it on social media now. Of course, these younger guys are showing off their legs and so forth. And obviously, it's a little different when you're kicking NFL footballs in NFL games and live situations. But again, these guys are getting really, really good at kicking the football, and they're getting stronger. So I do believe that there will be, and especially, and I think there has been some that have been 70 plus. That have been like the end of half, or somewhere where it's not going to hurt the offense going in. It's not going to give the defense or the opposing team a good field position if it's kicked at the end of the half and the clock runs out.
Bob, a couple more for Mike before we let him go.
Yeah, Mike, the Jaguars as a franchise, as an expansion franchise back in the mid-'90s, they got very good, very fast, probably faster than any other expansion team I remember. And obviously one of the architects was Tom Coughlin. He's very well respected up here, obviously in the New York area. But wanted to get your memories of Coughlin. Was he kicker friendly? Just as an overall coach, give me your impression.
He didn't treat kickers any different than the rest of the team. And the good thing about him, and some guys wouldn't say it's good, but he treated everyone the same. And he was tough. Don't get me wrong. We all know he was tough. Very, very disciplined. Very, very detailed. He was just one of those guys that put a lot of time and effort into his job, and it's an unbelievable passion for him. Obviously, it's the stories I've heard of some of the guys that were around Tom as long as I was, and just some of the the behind the scenes stuff. You hear about Tom sleeping in his office during the season in a cot, or on the couch or something, and I don't doubt that. I think he put so much time and effort into coaching. And one thing I think that really made us good as a young franchise, and as good as we were, was obviously Tom, but the way that Tom chose his team. I think he was very good at finding the team players, the humble guys, the guys that wanted to win, and it wasn't single individual guys all about the money. He was very good at looking inside the soul of every player he had on the team and handpicking the ones that he believed were in it, to be a team player. And even though, we as a team sometimes didn't agree with a lot of things that he was doing and the rules that he had, it was a respect thing where, you love him but you hate him sort of thing, kind of like a Lombardi sort of mentality. And speaking of Lombardi, you know, Tom, he would read books all day long, you know, Vince Lombardi books. He was kind of, you know, shadowing himself under Vince Lombardi's methodologies and his coaching style. So I think a lot of that transferred over, and I have the utmost respect for Tom Coughlin. Even when I was playing, it wasn't quite as much because I was, you know, I was younger, and I was, you know, not really thinking too much about, you know, hey, you know, is he so hard on the guys? You know, he really didn't have any problems with me, but I saw a lot of stuff, you know, with rules and things like that with Tom. But, you know, I get it now. He's just trying to, you know, make sure everyone's treated the same and trying to win football games. And he doesn't expect everyone to be perfect, but he does expect everyone to be perfect. It's kind of a hard situation to be in, but I love the guy. He's obviously done very well, and you know, I support his J Fund Foundation here in Jacksonville. I do a lot of things to help out that, and I'm very glad to see that Tom Coughlin is back here in Jacksonville. Just
one final quick one, Mike. As far as young kids and students you have, do you recommend that they have played some soccer in the past, or do you get a lot of kids that just come with you without a soccer background?
You know, most of the kids do play a little bit of soccer. The only thing that's good about soccer, in my opinion, that is referring to kicking, is the fact that you're running around. Soccer is different because you're kicking a lot of different styles of kicks, and you're hitting a different part of the ball, and depending on what kind of kick you're doing. And in soccer, you're kicking on the run, and you're not really following through. So there's a lot of differences with a soccer kick than a football kick, but that kind of, you know, playing soccer will develop that power, that timing of the leg, you know, and locking out and hitting the ball when you again the right part of your foot. So there is some good stuff about soccer, but I think overall, you know, ultimately having soccer kids come in, they typically, most kids, they don't they kind of lift their head up early, or they just punch the ball a little bit. You can see that a lot with soccer guys as well. And form-wise, they're kind of a little inconsistent with their lineup and things like that. But that's why we're here. That's what we do. We fix all that. So it's good.
Mike, before we let you go, remind our listeners all the ways they can follow you, both online and on social media as well. Proform Kicking on Facebook, Proform Kicking on Instagram, Kickman on Twitter, and then Mike Hollis, of course, on Facebook. That's my personal account as well. But I also, you know, proformkicking.com is where you can find me for kicking lessons and so forth. And I also want to mention I do work for a company. It's a software development company in the meal prep industry. So as far as, you know, being involved with health and nutrition and, you know, things like that during my career, I've really enjoyed being a part of this program. And we basically develop a business management software for meal prep companies. So meal prep companies have been out there looking for these things and dying for someone to actually create a business management application for their business. And we've finally done that. And we're first to market and having a blast with it. It's called Meal Prep Tech. And how can, you know, for folks that, you know, needed more information, curious about it, how can they find it online?
Mealpreptech.com is our website, and we're also Meal Prep Tech on Instagram and also Facebook.
There you go. Mike, thank you so much for coming back on the show tonight. It's been great catching up with you. Hopefully you'll come back. We'll get you back on here a little sooner next time because you're fantastic, my friend.
Love having you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Take
care, Mike. All the best to you and your family.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That is former Jaguars and Bills Pro Bowl kicker Mike Hollis, and Mike's doing some great things. Great coach, Bob. And I tell you, you know, you look on his site, and you can check him out on YouTube. It looks like he's kicking the ball just as far as he ever has. So, you know, I think someone should be paying attention just in case someone goes down, you know, in the kicker somewhere. I think calling Mike Hollis would be a very smart thing to do.
He was just amazing. Just check out his numbers, guys. Over, you know, a relatively short career, made 80% of his kicks, Chris, and 99% of the extra points. I mean, there were very few more accurate kickers in the history of the league if you look at his numbers. So we're honored to speak with him every time he gives us some time.
Yes, we are. All right, we've got our next guest, Eddie Kennison, hanging on the line. We'll get Eddie after this quick station ID.
Hear your favorite NFL legends sharing their stories and insights every week, right here on Thursday Night Tailgate with Chris Mascaro and Bob Lazari. Take it away, guys.
There's no way out.
At our shoulders.